Demons are real, everyone knows it, the apocalypse is imminent, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. First, let me just say I wasn't prepared for this episode to open up with a weird reenactment of Brokeback Mountain. That being said, it certainly portrayed this brand new character of Coda in a very interesting light. Yes, Coda, the ultimate track star himself, who's made a couple of appearances in this series, the one who supposedly killed his friend, and it looks like that probably is going to be the case, because Coda himself, just like Akira Fudo, is half man and half devil. He's another Devilman, so to speak, and he's going through a lot of weird changes. That combined with the weird, awkward time of being a teenager and realizing what your very own sexuality is, will make this an episode that a lot of people can actually get something out of and even connect to. That being said, this episode also just eventually de-evolved into the chaos that we know and love from the previous episodes of Devilman Crybaby. So let's go ahead and jump into this episode right here. So, like I said, this whole episode mostly revolves around the brand new character of Coda, who is subtly hinted at in some of the previous episodes. Ryo is after this guy because he knows that he is a demon, just like Akira Fudo. He has the ability to go from human to demon form, and he's hiding in plain sight. What are Ryo's plans overall with this guy? I'm not really sure. Does he just want to kill him? Does he want to capture him? Does he want to bring him into his weird little half-demon, half-human fold? I'm not really sure what the overall motive is here, but Ryo does have another big plan, which is to show the world that demons do exist, which is just going to have everything go into extreme chaos. I'm not really sure what the end goal is here for him, man. Like, Ryo, every single episode just reminds me that he's probably going to be a villain of the series. He totally comes across, like I said in my previous reviews, as sort of like the Griffith from Berserk. Like, I'm just waiting for that one moment where he's going to reveal that he himself is a demon just like Akira Fudo, or maybe he truly is a human and it's all just some sort of weird big metaphor that despite the fact that these people are monsters themselves, the most horrifying thing in the world are humans. I don't really know, but we don't have time to get philosophical. We gotta get to that big track meet, which is really where most of this episode takes place. We have this big, massive tournament which is going on between these big rival schools, and conveniently, of course, it involves all of our main cast in one area at once, which means this is going to be something of a turning point for the series when everybody realizes that there are demons amongst them. And the way that they go about that in this episode is just chaotic and insane in the best way possible, but it manages not to go too far into the realm of darkness. There are still some moments for some laughs as well. So, like I said, it's this big track meet. We have all these big rivalries such as Miko and Miki, or is it Miki and Miki? I'm not really sure. All I know is it's also an excuse for some more fan service, so get ready to see some gazongas. And then, of course, we have Coda himself, who is a big star in this episode. The opening scene with him and this guy who are basically just straight up getting it on is very disturbing as he transforms into his demon form and eats him mid-coitus. It's pretty freaking disturbing. The actual monster that Coda transforms into is like this giant bull with this massive gaping mouth of just sharp, rigid teeth. It's basically a Sarlacc from Star Wars with feet. It's insane, and when you actually see him transform into that form in this episode and go on a rampage, it's just an absolute bloodbath of ridiculous proportions. And like I said, the way this all goes down is thanks to Ryo Asuka, who happens to be streaming this event live and even giving some commentary over it, with a big plan to actually start showing all of that footage from the first episode at the swanky club with Akira transforming into a demon to the world, which is going to cause all sorts of chaos, and it immediately does, because in the middle of this really epic track race, he suddenly starts to show all of this footage. And this is when Akira Fudo actually confronts Coda for the very first time, revealing that both of them are similar and that they are sort of like in possession of a super powerful demon. But it all just goes to hell, so to speak, when everybody starts to see all this footage, and it suddenly triggers an emotional transformation in Coda, and he just goes on a rampage and just starts eating all of the people on the track, ramming into them and crushing them. There's this one unlucky dude who's just sitting there listening to music on his phone with his eyes closed when suddenly he just gets stomped to death. It's violent, but it's also really funny at the same time. It just ends with everybody learning that demons are real and getting a first-hand demonstration of what they're actually capable of. The actual demons of the world are also watching this, and they realize that they are being challenged by someone. So a lot of crazy things are about to happen in this post-apocalyptic demon world of Devilman Crybaby. It all ends with Akirafudo desperately trying to save Koda by grabbing onto him and flying away into the midnight sky. What's going to happen after this? I don't know. All I know is this episode was fucking nuts. What's the rundown on this week's episode of Devilman Crybaby? This was a surprisingly good episode for introducing a character we barely knew nothing about and making us immediately care about him. And, you know, making him into a gay character, too. Also, you know, this is one of those instances where I think it doesn't feel shoehorned in. Aside from that, we also get some great moments from some of the main characters of the series, like Akira and Miki. It's clear that their relationship is growing a lot stronger. And while Miki sees their relationship as family, I think there's something a little deeper there, and the fact that they're not related leads me to believe that they probably will have something of a loving relationship at some point in the series. But we're getting very close to the end here, so I really don't know how things are going to go. What I will say is this was certainly a very high and intense episode of the series, very just nuts, to say the least, and it was done with a lot of great style and even a little bit of humor, like that guy listening to music before he is stomped to death by a giant, ridiculous bull demon. It's nuts, it's crazy, and it's exactly what I love from the Devilman series, and it does everything it needs to do in the best way possible. That being said, now that I've been exposed to Devilman, I've started looking up some of the other portions of the series. I've looked at the manga version. I've read the first volume, which I think is pretty freaking fantastic, despite the fact that some of the character designs are slightly dated in that old school kind of anime and manga way. And I've also taken a look at the very first OVA, which is called Devilman the Birth. And I was watching that with a friend last night, and I have to say, I like that a lot more than Devilman Crybaby. Now, does that mean I don't like Devilman Crybaby? Absolutely not. This is one of those weird situations where I kind of like this adaptation just as much, just in a completely different way. It's effectively the same story, just with some minor differences, but I have to admit, I do prefer the OVA from the 1980s, just because I like that style of anime a lot more. I think this one still carries a lot of that spirit, but just everything that I saw from that OVA just blew my mind in terms of the amazing quality. And I watched the Japanese version, and then I tried listening to the English dub for a little bit, and man, if there's one thing I can say about the older anime versions, it's that the old anime dubs suck. And this one especially sucks. But yeah, this episode of Devilman Crybaby, getting back on track, I thought it was another fantastic addition to the series, which to me was a little off-putting at first, but honestly turned into one of my favorite episodes from the series. I'm giving this one right here a 5 out of 5. Check it out, Devilman fans, and make sure to tell me what you guys thought about this episode in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to look forward to more Devilman Crybaby reviews. I'm almost done with the entire series, and of course I'm doing a lot of other big anime reviews. There are so many this season, and I have a lot more that are going to be coming out soon, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you did like this video, smash the like button. Do it right now. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay down there, baby.